Okay, so hopefully part 3 is the last part because I know you're probably getting tired of hearing me. Understandable. So what I've done is I've gone in and I've just opened up a score sheet I had for one of my cores from the year. So you can just see exactly what it's going to look like, and you can also see how I put the formulas in. If you've used Excel, Sheets is really similar. The formulas work the same, mean, median, mode, range, average, blah, blah, blah. Math stuff, okay? If you need help with that, I totally recommend asking a math teacher. They tend to know that stuff. Or, of course, ask your ITC. Ask anybody. Everybody knows everything. They're really helpful. So what I've done, like I said, is I've just opened up a group of essays that I scored for my students last year. It was Common Assessment 4. Part of the reason I was having a problem in the last spreadsheet is because I did delete categories. And they were important categories. It was the name and email categories. So leave those in. You will notice, though, that there are some things that I've hidden, or hiding is always a great idea, totally fine, because it doesn't delete it all the way. But you'll notice that pretty much everything is still exactly the same. And you'll see the assess document and the link to the document. If you click the link to just the document, it's just going to take you to the student writing. It's not going to have all the tools that we want to use. So let me just pull this up so you can see exactly what that looks like now. So I've showed you a few of the tools before, like where you could add comments and everything like that. So the comments were over here. I always like to use complete sentences. I like to write fully. I know sometimes we use, just to speed up the process, especially when we're hand grading, we'll have like maybe a sheet where we just kind of like jot down notes on for them, or like at the bottom of their rubric or whatever. I try to use a strategy called glows and grows. A lot of us are already familiar with it. I try to focus on only one big grow or maybe 2 little grows, okay? And then I don't cap my glows. I think that if students are doing an excellent job in multiple categories, they should hear it. I love to love on my kids, so I go for it. Another great thing about this is when you're in the essay, this is actually Google Docs down here. So you can go in, and I loved doing this, and the students loved it so much. We were able to pull up their essays, and I was able to leave notes for them directly on the essay. And it's really great. I was able to point out exactly what parts I loved of the student's essay, or where something could have been tweaked to be a little more clear, precise. And it was really great. It helped the students a lot too, because a lot of the times if you put work on your commas as a grow, they're not going to realize what you're talking about. They need to see an example of exactly what they did wrong so they know how to fix it, and that's a really great way to do that. At the top up here is where Goobric came into play. So this is the rubric that you've attached. So the NNPS writing rubric, almost said Goobric, the writing rubric is attached at the top. And it's separated into the different tabs. And what happens is as you select a category, okay, the number at the top up here is going to change. You see it changing? Okay, so after you decide on one, I don't remember what it was on before. Oh, well, I think it was a 3. But after you decide what a student gets, you just go to the next category, and you can click it directly on here. If you've been doing this a long time and you know exactly what the categories break down to, you don't need to actually click on them. You can just type them in straight up here and then move on to the next one. Easy. Okay, but the great thing is it's going to save as you do it. Go through them all, make sure they all have numbers, and when you're done, you've added your comments, you can click submit, and it will take you on to the next student's essay. Same things are going to pop up. Student essay at the bottom, you'll see their name and the title of their assignment. You can put their glows and grows up here, rubrics here. If you want to leave that vocal feedback like I was talking about, that audio feedback, this is the microphone in order to do that. You can record an audio comment. Easy squeezy lemon peasy. This dot up here means that it's actually working. It's actually recording your answers for the audio part. But it's just there. Don't let it freak you out. So once you're done with all the essays, what's going to happen is in your document, as you move throughout it, the student, what you scored each category is going to show up here. I know. It's amazing, right? Okay, so what we need to make sure we do in order to make this work the easiest way for us is there's a little bit of setup at the beginning before you start grading. You need to add in 2 categories, 2 columns. Okay, columns go this way. You need to add 2 columns. First off, you need to, after tone and voice, you need to add in the composing and written expression score. So your formula for this, okay, is right here, mode, and then in parentheses, you would do N2 to S2 because that's going to give you everything from N2 to S2, and it's going to give you that mode, what's been used the most, okay? So hers was a 3, so we have that here. But we know with composing and written expression, we multiply that category times 2. So in the next column that we've added, all we have to do is take T2, which is this category where we had our average, and so we would put T2 times 2, and it's going to do that math for us. Okay, once you put the formulas in once, all you have to do is click this and drag down to all the different columns. So it hits all the different rows, and it's going to do that math for you. Then we need to make sure we do the same thing with usage and mechanics. So sentence formation, usage, mechanics, add a column. So our usage and mechanics average score. Hers was a 3 because she got more 3s, but it did that math for us on its own. Then our total score. So what I've done here is I've done U2, okay, U2, which is where our average composing and written expression score was multiplied times 2, and I've added it plus Y2, which is this box here, where I've gotten my usage and mechanics average, and it's going to give us that score. Another great thing is that it also puts all the comments you put on there in this column here, okay? And then I don't really know what the count column means. I just ignore that one. Because from here, so from AA2 to N2, those are the numbers I need for this student, okay? And then as you go, after you set up those columns that way with those formulas, as you go through the rest of the essay, it's going to do it for you automatically. So then by the time you're done, what you're going to have is a whole sheet of graded essays. So all you have to do, okay, all you have to do is just write those down. Easy squeezy. And I want to show you what one of the student essays looks like when you're done. So you can see exactly what the student is going to see when they pull back up their essay for the first time after you've gone in. So they have their whole essay, okay? They have their, what's happening? Okay, so they have their whole essay, like I said. All their comments you put on there are there. And at the end, moving the whole box, at the end, they're going to see that their rubric is there. Okay, it pops up literally right after their essay's done. Each of their categories, okay, the boxes you marked them on are shaded in for them to visually see, okay? The reason there's 2 on hers is because I went through it with you guys. But right after the rubric, you'll see their comments, which are the glows and the grows. So, that was my doorbell. I have to get that, but that's all I needed to show you. So that is how you use Goobric and Doctopus to make it a lot faster. It may take an extra minute the first once or twice you do it, but after that, it goes really fast. It's really easy, and it's going to make life super duper easy when grading your essays because you don't have to tote writing folders to and from your house. You can do this literally on any computer. I'm not using my work computer right now. I'm using a Mac. That's how great this is. So thank you for paying attention. Thank you for watching all 3 parts of this video. I'm sorry it couldn't all be on one, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.